Many older adults start their day with a rush of pills before they even take their first deep breath. Blood pressure medication, blood thinning medication, diabetes medication, cholesterol medication are swallowed in quick succession, one after another, as if urgency has become part of the morning ritual itself. There is no pause, no moment to consider what the body is being asked to handle. The day has barely begun, yet the system is already loaded. Right after that, breakfast arrives in the same intense rhythm. Fried eggs, butter-seared bread, crisp bacon from a hot pan, fried sausages, golden potatoes, or hash browns fill the plate. The flavors feel comforting and familiar, so the choices become automatic. By lunchtime and dinner, the pattern keeps its momentum. Pan-fried pork, breaded and fried fish fillets, or cheese turned crisp in oil appear again and again. For older adults who live alone or struggle with energy, fried dishes seem like the simplest path because they are quick, soft, and require almost no preparation. Across months and years, this cycle repeats until it becomes invisible. The routine feels harmless, but the risk quietly grows underneath each convenient choice. Just as the daily routine of fried meals can quietly build long-term strain, the body often begins sending clear warning signals soon after these high-fat dishes are eaten. Many older adults notice a sudden warmth in the face or a light flush appearing within 30 to 90 minutes after a fried meal. The sensation seems minor, yet it is often the first sign that the circulatory system is working harder than it should. Along with facial warmth, the head may feel heavier than usual or develop a dull ache across the forehead, creating a sense of pressure that does not match the level of activity. Some individuals experience a brief shift in heart rhythm. The heart may beat faster for a moment or skip slightly, creating a ripple of discomfort that passes quickly but should not be ignored. When standing up after eating, there can be 1 or 2 seconds of imbalance, prompting the person to hold onto a chair or counter for stability. Short episodes of numbness in one arm, one leg, or one side of the face may appear and disappear within minutes. Speech may become less fluid, with words harder to find or thoughts moving more slowly. Blood pressure can rise by 10 to 20 millimeters of mercury after a greasy meal, increasing the load on the vessels. When these warnings repeat themselves after fried foods, stroke risk rises sharply and may edge toward doubling over time. When warning signs keep appearing after fried meals, it becomes essential to look closely at the eating patterns that silently raise risk over the years. Many older adults rely on familiar fried foods such as fried eggs, butter-toasted bread, fried sausages, fried bacon, battered and fried fish, pan-seared meat, fried potatoes, hash browns, and fried cheese. These dishes are chosen because they are soft, flavorful, quick to prepare, convenient, and easy to digest, making them feel suitable for an aging body. However, repeated exposure to these foods carries a hidden cost. Consuming fried dishes 4 times per week or more has been linked to a 37% increase in heart and brain-related events. The oils used for repeated frying produce oxidation products that irritate and inflame blood vessels over time. When these foods are eaten immediately after taking medication, the combined physiological load can push risk even higher, potentially approaching a near doubling when this pattern continues year after year. Because long-term eating habits can quietly raise risk, it is important to understand the dangerous mechanism that occurs when medication and fried foods move in opposite directions inside the body. After medication is taken, the body needs about 30 to 60 minutes for the medicine to be absorbed evenly into the bloodstream. This gradual process allows the circulatory system to stay stable. Fried foods interrupt this balance by slowing stomach digestion by 40 to 50%, causing medication to enter the blood inconsistently, sometimes too slowly and sometimes too quickly. When the medication moves into the bloodstream too slowly, blood pressure rises because the expected relief does not arrive on time. When it suddenly enters too quickly, blood pressure can drop more than expected, creating a strong internal swing. At the same time, the hot fats and oxidation products from reused frying oil make blood vessels tighten, while the medication is trying to relax those same vessels. This creates a direct conflict inside the cardiovascular system. Adults over 60 often have less flexible blood vessels, so they are more likely to feel dizziness, headaches, numbness, or reduced balance when this internal tug-of-war happens. The dangerous timeline unfolds in specific stages. From 0 to 30 minutes, the medication begins entering the blood. From 30 to 90 minutes, blood fats rise sharply after the fried meal. And from 90 to 150 minutes, blood pressure becomes the most unstable. When this conflicting mechanism occurs day after day, the risk of stroke can climb dramatically, potentially reaching nearly double the risk seen in people who eat farther away from their medication schedule. Since the internal conflict between medication and fried foods can create significant instability, it is crucial to understand which types of medication are most strongly affected by high-fat meals. Blood pressure medication is particularly vulnerable, with absorption levels shifting by 20 to 70% when taken alongside a fatty dish. This instability makes it difficult for the medicine to keep pressure within a safe range. Blood-thinning medication also responds poorly, as hot oil and oxidation compounds can irritate blood vessel walls and weaken the consistency of the anticoagulant effect. Cholesterol-lowering medication meets its own obstacle because low-density lipoprotein often rises within 1 to 2 hours after a fried meal, directly working against the medication's intended action. For individuals using diabetes medication, the slow breakdown of fat causes blood sugar levels to climb and remain high for several hours. When several medication types are disrupted at the same time, the overall risk of vascular events, including stroke, may rise sharply and approach a near doubling of danger over time. Recognizing which fried foods create the greatest danger after medication helps explain why certain dishes trigger stronger reactions. Fish coated in batter and fried, or fillets cooked in a heavily oiled pan, introduce a surge of hot fat that slows digestion and disrupts medication absorption. From there, crispy fried bacon and fried sausages add concentrated saturated fat, further intensifying the body's workload. Fried potatoes and hash browns continue the pattern by sharply raising blood fat levels within a short time. Melted fried cheese and oil-rich pan-fried pork follow with an even heavier load, pushing the circulatory system to compensate. Butter-toasted bread and heavily oiled fried eggs complete this chain of strain. As the oil content and heat rise across these dishes, circulatory swings grow stronger, raising stroke risk significantly and potentially nearing a doubling when repeated each day. Identifying who faces the greatest risk after combining medication with fried foods is essential for understanding how danger accumulates with age. Individuals over 60 who take blood pressure medication, blood-thinning medication, cholesterol-lowering medication, or diabetes medication every day belong to the highest risk group, because their bodies must constantly balance medication effects with metabolic stress. Those with elevated low-density lipoprotein or high triglycerides carry additional strain, making their vessels more sensitive to harmful swings. People who have experienced one-sided numbness, brief imbalance when standing, or discomfort after meals show early signs of vascular instability. Older adults who consume fried foods 3 to 5 times per week further raise this vulnerability. For anyone with existing plaque in the arteries, the chance of plaque disruption rises 2 to 3 times after a fried meal. When multiple risk factors overlap, the likelihood of stroke can increase dramatically and may reach a near doubling when fried foods are eaten soon after medication. Because multiple risk factors can combine to raise stroke probability, it becomes crucial to understand which groups of adults over 60 face the greatest danger when medication and fried foods are regularly consumed together. This connection helps explain why certain individuals experience stronger reactions even with small dietary changes. Older adults who take daily medication for blood pressure control, blood thinning, cholesterol reduction, or diabetes management belong to the most vulnerable category. Their bodies must handle constant medication absorption while also coping with the metabolic impact of each meal, making them more sensitive to sudden internal shifts. Those with elevated low-density lipoprotein or high triglycerides already carry a heavier cardiovascular burden, and the added effect of fried foods can push their vessels beyond a safe threshold. Individuals who have previously experienced one-sided numbness, brief dizziness upon standing, or discomfort after meals show early signs of circulatory instability, suggesting that the system is already under strain. Adults who consume fried dishes 3 to 5 times each week add another layer of risk because repeated exposure to hot oils, oxidized fats, and large fat loads increases the likelihood of sharp blood pressure changes after eating. For those with existing plaque buildup in the arteries, the concern becomes even greater, as the chance of plaque disruption can rise 2 to 3 times after a fried meal. When someone belongs to several of these high-risk groups simultaneously, the combined effect can elevate the likelihood of a stroke dramatically and may approach a near doubling when fried foods are eaten soon after medication. Managing these overlapping risks requires practical timing strategies that allow adults over 60 to protect their circulation while still enjoying familiar foods. After taking medication, the safest approach is to wait 1 to 2 hours before eating any fried or heavily oiled dishes, giving the body enough time to absorb the medication steadily. A safer breakfast can include boiled eggs, oats, whole grain bread, unsweetened yogurt, or soft fruits, all of which support stable digestion and smoother circulation. For lunch and dinner, gentle cooking methods such as steaming, boiling, or light baking sectors help reduce the strain on blood vessels and minimize sudden swings. If fried food is still desired, choosing a time farthest from medication, such as late afternoon, reduces the chance of interference. Adjusting timing in this way significantly lowers the likelihood of dangerous spikes, including the possibility of a near doubling of risk when meals are eaten at the wrong hour. When careful timing is not followed and a fried meal is eaten soon after medication, knowing how to respond can reduce the immediate strain on the body. The first and most important step is to avoid taking any extra medication, because additional doses can intensify pressure swings and make the reaction more unpredictable. A small cup of warm water can help ease digestion and support steadier absorption. After that, sitting down to rest for 10 to 15 minutes prevents sudden changes in posture that might worsen dizziness or imbalance. Monitoring the body for the next 1 to 2 hours becomes essential, since this is the period when blood fats rise and blood pressure may shift most noticeably. If any warning signs appear, such as one-sided numbness, difficulty speaking, or sudden loss of balance, immediate medical evaluation is necessary to rule out a developing emergency. Understanding how to respond to risky situations makes it easier to appreciate the final message for adults over 60. Long-term safety depends more on daily timing than on any single meal. Stroke rarely comes from one isolated dish. It develops from repeated habits that place medication and fried foods too close together, day after day. When meals are timed correctly, medication enters the bloodstream in a steady rhythm, and the blood vessels are not forced to handle sudden pressure swings. This stability becomes one of the most effective forms of protection. Fried foods do not need to be eliminated entirely. What matters is creating distance between the medication schedule and high-fat dishes, since this simple adjustment can significantly reduce danger, including the possibility of risk approaching a near doubling when eaten at the wrong moment. A small shift in timing can safeguard both heart and brain health for many years.